Okay, so um it's my daughter's second birthday today. My princess is, I don't know, beyond smart, and she's just not the greatest. But while it is a really good happy day, and it was pretty good. And she had fun. It's a difficult day for me. It's been a hard day for me. Um, when my son was born, when my oldest son was born, I started getting some memories, um, kind of resurfacing and understanding, and I guess seeing that what I kind of called just, a rough childhood, a hard childhood, and teenage years, um, and like strict, strict parenting, I guess. Um, that's kind of how I was made to see it, and how I did see it, for quite a while. And then after my son was born, like I said, it started to kind of come back, but like just bits and pieces. And I kind of sometimes I explain it as like a dam breaking. So it started to. There was difficulties holding the memories back after my son was born, and so some memories started leaking through. But it like officially broke when my daughter was born, and I wasn't made aware prior to my daughter being born. But I mean, I hadn't really talked about any of this stuff at that point. Um, but apparently, if you have been abused, neglected, anything like that, throughout your childhood, and more specifically, by a mother figure, obviously your own, like the person who raised you, your biological mother, um, whatever, being the worst, um, and you're a female, and you have a daughter, um, the parallels are extreme, and it's kind of gut wrenching, and it's just absolutely terrifying, at moments. And um, I have had so many um, emotional flashbacks, and just kind of realizations, I guess, afterwards. Um, I guess it's kind of what it is. I kind of remember the memory, or a piece of a memory, and um, in some in the weirdest way, but in the best way. Um, and this is absolutely no advertisement. I just literally watched the show. I love the show. New Amsterdam has paralleled. Dr. Fromm has paralleled a lot of what I'm going through in some of his um, with some of his patients, and the without giving too much away, there's no spoilers really, I guess, about the season finale that I just watched. And he was dealing with somebody with PTSD, and there was a missing piece that was just blacked out. And once he saw that, with the help of drugs to bring that memory to kind of fruition without the trauma coming back, he realized that, his memories had been falsified. And that's something that the brain does. And when the post-traumatic stress disorder is deemed complex, which is CPTSD, the complex is basically when the abuse and the trauma, where in simple, PTSD is what is mainly known from vets and somebody who's been sexually assaulted or assaulted of any kind, really, or experienced something like near-death experience type of thing. It's a one-time trauma, typically, and while that doesn't mean it's any less damaging while dealing with it, it is one time, and once you dig to the bottom of that, it's kind of over. You'll still deal with it, but yeah, it's when you're dealing with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, essentially the person who is dealing with that was unable to escape the trauma, the traumatic situation that they were in. So kidnapping, prisoner of war, childhood abuse, specifically from parents or guardians, and essentially where you were unable or made to believe you were unable to escape the situation, and or held at threat of life. And basically, when I found that out, then just barely scratching the surface, I had, these were just memories I had kind of talked about my whole life, that I had told people stories growing up. The stories I told the doctor, the first stories, they were nothing. They were the ones that I thought were, okay to share, which in itself should have been enough a warning, but when somebody tells you something so many times, somebody you're supposed to trust, yeah, it's anyways, so yeah, it's been one heck of a couple years, and I wouldn't trade it. It's been an emotional roller coaster. Digging through this stuff has been the worst. Maybe it's because it's been just over 10 years now. Oh, I guess really only less than 10 years that I've been, kind of really away from that situation completely. Maybe I'm not remembering the pain or the trauma as well, or maybe it is worse because I'm fighting to keep a straight face for the kids. But this has been the worst, reliving these memories. Remembering how much how much I would sit in my room and I would pray to a God I didn't believe in. To not wake up. Because I didn't want to survive. But I couldn't do it myself. Because that would hurt my sisters too much. I could never do it. They were literally the reason that I never did. Because between like 12 and 16, there were definitely a couple times that just the thought of leaving them alone with her, it barely took over the want to not be here. But it did, and I mean, I'll forever be grateful in a weird way, because my kids are amazing. Basically, Aubrey's the best and worst thing that's ever happened to me. She's my angel. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I have 3 kids. A boy, a girl, and a boy. And I don't understand how she could hurt us and be okay with herself. She denies things. She thinks she did her best. Some things could be written off as that. But I'm not going into this video, but there's a lot more that, with or without I did my best crap. She didn't, but I'm gonna be better. They're not gonna see me. They're not gonna see me crumble. They're not gonna see me break down. At them, because I can't promise they're not gonna see me break down how they've seen me break down a couple times, but I'm open with them about everything, about mental health, and not the details of my childhood, at least not at this point in their lives. But she said things to me that I wouldn't say to my worst enemy, let alone my child. I don't know. I don't know what I'm hoping to get out of all this shit. Oh, I do. I'm hoping that digging through all this crap means that one day I'll be able to see things that remind me of my abuse, which, considering my abuse happened in a domestic setting, everything does. But anyways, maybe one day I won't be so affected. Maybe getting my story out will help one person who's either been in a similar situation, or I really hope not, but is in a similar situation. I met a girl online through, like, just chatting through a group I was an admin for at one point. She's just needing an ear. And while different, she had other parents. They were crappy in themselves. They are crappy in themselves. But our situation is very, very similar. And my heart breaks for her. And any other kids that are remotely going through what I went through. And yeah, I don't know. I've got to start doing this more because I always forget. I have these like epiphanies after breakdowns, and then I forget them. Yeah, so yeah, I guess sometimes people say that your birthday should be more about your mom than you, because she did all the work. And she liked to remind me of that all the time. And so one of the things I really don't want to ever do is use that against my kids, against my husband. Yeah, against him all the time. 3 kids, natural birth. I had an epidural, but still, C-sections are still extremely difficult, but in an absolutely different way. I don't think I could ever do that, though. I'm very thankful I didn't have to. I'm off topic. Point is, I don't like that. And I'm sure it's fairly innocent, I guess, from most people, you know. Share that cake with me. I carried you for 9 months, and, you know, just joking around, similar to the way I do with my husband most of the time. but she used it negatively more often than not. And so yeah, that's just something I don't want to ever do. I'm totally off topic and I don't remember what I was doing. Oh right, the mother's thing. So yeah, I don't like when people say, "Oh, today's about you," but at the same time, I feel like it is, at least with her, and that's why I did my absolute best to keep all of this away from her. I don't want to taint her day with my bad memories. But yeah, I don't know what I don't know what this is gonna look like next year. She's 3. I can't even imagine. She's gonna be a sassy little girl. She already is. I'm hopeful that maybe I'll be pretty much over this everyday stuff, at least. Emotional flashbacks every day while staying at home with 2 kids and a dog. And yeah, it's not fun. They're a good distraction though, and I need it, but it's still hard. So hopefully I'm not dealing with this so frequently by next year, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Anyways, yeah, I'm no good at ending conversations in person or otherwise. Anyways, so I should probably head to bed. If you listen, thanks. Just one step at a time.